Okay, I think we are good to go. The commercial real estate industry has gone through a sea change in the last 5 years. There's an unparalleled demand for automation, data analytics, sustainability, and multifunctionality in the commercial real estate sector. Thanks to innovative startups and technologies such as computer vision, IoT, digital twin, blockchain, and AI for offering solutions for these innovative challenges. And because this space is innovating so fast, we wanted to bring some subject matter experts to discuss this topic at length. Hi, this is Pankaj Gupta from EthAum Venture Partners. We are a deep tech revenue scaler and fund based out of Singapore with approximately 100 startups in the portfolio. These are all AI, ML, blockchain, IoT, robotics, AR, VR kind of startups from different parts of the world, stages, and sectors. Fortunately, we have approximately 12 startups from the prop tech, smart city, real estate sectors, and they are working with world's leading Fortune 1000 organizations in Asia Pacific, EMEA, and US regions. We are thrilled to host this panel in collaboration with Spintly, a new startup in the portfolio solving access management challenges for the real estate leaders. Now, without further delay, I would request our esteemed panelists to introduce themselves, and I would request Ariel to first go. Ariel, please, a quick intro.
Sure. Thank you for, again, having this panel. So my name is Ariel. I currently am responsible for the West Coast investments for Tokyo Land, a publicly traded real estate company out of Tokyo. Previously, I was working with another publicly traded company in Russia, and prior to that, I was with another developer out of Singapore. So I have quite familiarity with understanding the need for efficiency.
Fantastic, and you have been at in different countries, working in different cultures. So I'm sure that you have a lot of expertise that you can share today. Thanks a lot, Ariel.
Thank you.
Ibrahim, please. Ibrahim, you're on mute. Or probably Eric, you may want to go.
Frozen.
Okay, Eric, you may want to go.
Yeah, sure. Happy to jump in. Not dissimilar to Ariel, a bit of a globe-trotting background. I've been in Shanghai, New York, Hong Kong, and I'm now Singapore. And basically, my career has been about solving real estate problems. The first half of my career, I was doing that with capital on the investment side of the business. And in the latter half, that's been through technology and innovation. Now, a partner at RCT Ventures, we invest in and advise early stage build world technology companies. And my role prior to this was the Asia CEO for Ascensus, which is a global prop tech business headquartered out of London, where we spent quite a bit of time and developed quite a few products around access control, not too dissimilar to some of the things I think Rohan and Spindley are working on. So I'm really excited for today's discussion. I think it's going to be a lively one.
Fantastic, fantastic, Eric. I'm sure that because of your background in access control, Rohan will be able to get a lot of great insights from you. Again, appreciate your time today. Ibrahim, please.
Yes, my name is Ibrahim Kujuguz. I'm Engineering Solutions Director of PCS Thailand. We are the biggest facilities management company in Thailand with 34,000 people. I'm responsible on the engineering side. It covers operation maintenance and projects, which is not limited to energy efficiency, sustainability, green building certifications, many other type of projects, EPC projects, we can call it. And then, of course, as I mentioned, maintenance, operational maintenance is our scope of work, and we are the biggest engineering company in Thailand in terms of number of people and the number of the clients. We have got more than 5,000 clients in Thailand, but we have got also presence in other APEC countries, 11 countries, with more than 70,000 workforces. Also in the APEC, we are one of the biggest service provider. And definitely, especially on the real estate sector, we are offering to our clients energy efficiency, sustainability solutions together with innovation. And today we will discuss more in details about the challenges and other things probably. And I'm again happy to be participate in the platform and the panel. Thanks, Pankaj.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Ibrahim. And obviously, PCS is becoming bigger with even more clients and acquisitions. So that's always exciting. Exciting to see partners growing organically. Okay, so next I would request Rohin, CEO of Spintly and moderator of today's event, to introduce himself. Rohin, please.
I'm Pankaj. Thanks a lot for having me. Madhu, thanks. It's been great knowing you guys, and great meeting you, Eric, Ariel, and Ibrahim. I'm Rohin Parker, co-founder and CEO of Spintly. My background has been in wireless communication engineering, worked with companies like Motorola, Nokia, Broadcom, developing new wireless standards on cellular side of things and IoT and Bluetooth and Wi-Fi side of things. Started the company about 4 years back with a vision to change how smart buildings are connecting to the cloud. So that's what Spintly is all about, right? So we'll talk about it more, and really excited about talking to all of you guys on the panel.
Thank you, Rohin. And I know that you prepared some really interesting questions. So why don't we start with the interesting questions that you have for the panel? Let's go ahead.
Cool. Yeah, great. So I'd like to learn, first of all, I would like to learn a lot from you guys. You have a ton of experience in different areas. So first question is pretty broad. I'll probably start with a random order. I'll go with Eric first. So I think real estate space, as we said, has been, I mean, it's an old industry, so it's very hard to move, right? It moves slowly. So there are a lot of stigmas and taboos associated with real estate space. Which are these stigmas or taboos which you don't agree with, which are stuck with real estate?
Yeah, I'll talk about a stigma that actually I think was mentioned on the pre-call as well, which we hear all the time, which is that real estate is not a cutting edge industry. I don't disagree with that in the sense that it's difficult and perhaps slow to adopt a lot of technology and innovation, but I think that's often misunderstood by folks to mean that the industry is somehow opposed to adoption or sort of actively fighting it, and I just don't see that or really buy it. I think I can't think of many real estate companies out there that aren't meaningfully trying to understand, plan for, and adopt solutions, technology innovation across the board. I think we do have quite a challenge in a lot of the innovation and technology that comes out there, which is, specific point solutions or coming from a place that doesn't necessarily understand how the industry works. And on the flip side of that, organizations that aren't necessarily built or have the know-how to evaluate and adopt solutions that are likely to require 12 to 24 months to run a POC, to adopt, and then sort of be sort of put more widespread into a portfolio, which is a timeline that some technologies move faster than that. So by the time you're done, there might be new solutions out there. So from the perspective of, say, an asset manager who needs to worry about a million different things and run a building, when they're sort of seeing dozens of different solutions a week and not necessarily equipped or even incentivized to adopt those, I think that's what ultimately leads to the slower pace that a lot of us would like to see for adoption. But again, back to the underlying stigma or even myth that I think there isn't interest or intention to modernize and become more efficient. I think that's very much the case. I think to date we've just had a lot of mismatch of innovation to the industry itself, but I also see that changing.
Excellent. Thanks for the insights. Ariel, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this.
Sure. I mean, I agree with Eric. I think every company is trying to innovate. The question is how efficient they are. Many times when we're working with partners, they mention how they have a unique strategy for looking at investment, they're utilizing certain technology. In reality, that's back of the napkin math. It's not really anything too innovative. Not always. I'm just using an example of the extreme. We do see that, and we do see other groups that are applying certain technology to be more efficient in their processes. As a company, and this is across the board, we're trying to figure out ways where we can optimize turnaround time. How do we optimize efficiency, whether it's underwriting a deal, whether it's collecting information from an asset management perspective, whether that's how do we keep our M&R, manage that well? How do we manage our operations? And so if there's technology that can improve your bottom line and improve your turnaround time, I think everyone's for it. It's just a matter of finding technology that really does that.
Yeah. Any other stigmas you think associated with real estate, Ariel, which are other than slow moving, right?
I think that's a key thing, that a lot of the stigma is it doesn't move as fast from a technology perspective, or the technology itself is still very manual. Maybe it's AI elements not really involved. You look at just different asset classes, and you look at stock market. Stock markets and the exchanges have developed systems that are essentially automated. They're extreme. If you look at mean variance optimizers, which is just a way to look at a portfolio, it can do it for you very cleanly, very simply. Real estate, it's sticky. Direct real estate, that is, it's sticky. It's challenging in that way. So if you're trying to put technology together to improve your decision making and your optimization, there's still a lot of human element to it. It's great for us because it means we still have jobs, but at the same time, there's ways that we hopefully can optimize this process more. And so we're always looking for technology to improve how we're viewing deals, and once we own the deal, how we asset manage the deal.
Great. Moving on to Ibrahim, what's your opinion on this? Do you see any specifics in the region where you are in?
Yes, of course. I mean, we are seeing a movement on the sustainability, especially. I mean, of course, when we are saying sustainability, a client is demanding now about innovations also on the real estate sector, because I mean, since we are here, I mean, in Thailand, almost 6 years now, we are trying to encourage our clients, especially on the real estate, on the commercial or residential areas, to be energy efficient and sustainable. Of course, there was impact of the energy bills, but however, some of the clients, I mean, they were not concerned about energy bills, so it was not easy to encourage them. But now, in last 1 year and actually a bit more, especially after the pandemic, we see the international clients they are asking innovation on the new buildings or old buildings. For example, they are planning to open an office in Thailand, and they are asking landlord whether they comply with the sustainability, if the building is sustainable enough. Of course, in order to achieve, especially for the old buildings or even for the new buildings, actually, for the sustainability, to reduce the energy cost or monitor and control, definitely you need to use innovation and use technology which exists on the market. So we see now clients are asking. Before we were promoting, we were trying to encourage our clients, because why? We are not only simple service provider in Thailand. As I mentioned, we are the biggest one in Thailand. Why we are big? Because we are not offering only technicians, putting them, and they are not doing traditional services. We are also supporting our client with solutions, whether they ask or not. We are telling them that they need to reduce their energy costs, and we are telling them how they can do it. So we are putting the process on it, and we are coming with a recommendation. We are telling them, okay, this is a solution, this is the return on investment, etc. But 2 years before, I mean, they were not really listening or paying attention, but now it's the other way around. We see from the client side, they are asking us, oh, PCS, can you help us? Do you have any solutions? And just recently, we signed 2 contracts with 2 different clients for the green building certification. This is, of course, as a PCS, we don't do everything by ourselves. I mean, we are using partners. So we are not technology provider, first of all. But I want to highlight there's a good movement on the sector in Thailand. Especially, I'm talking about, of course, but if you talk about other countries like Singapore, they are they already yes achieve all these things. So it's not a question mark, but here it's quite new. So it's a good opportunity for the market.
Good. Yeah, thanks. And since you bring up sustainability, right? The next question is for Ariel. I think although industry has been moving slow, I think there is a lot of innovation already happening in different areas, especially sustainability. What are the few innovations which you are really excited about, right? And are you implementing this in, are there any examples of implementations which you have come across of you have done?
Sure. I think just something simple in terms of data collection, there's systems out there right now that before were, I would say, more static or passive. You would input information and just keep it for records. Now you can input information and it'll provide you analysis. And so let's say we're getting collate data, in our case, various deal flow. There's a system right now with Altrio called Origin that was stemmed from people that own a company called DealPath. This is specific to US, but I think Origin is international at this point, works with some groups in MENA and the like. It's quite large, so for many institutions. But what it does is you can put in the information, and then proactively allows you to analyze that data and provide you benchmarking in a way that is more proactive than before. So I think a lot of systems, which were first, how do we collect all the sticky data, is now coming together to provide you real analysis, real feedback. And so that's interesting. And if that still applies, that could be great as it relates to underwriting deals to once you operate and own a deal. Right? And so to the extent that you can have technology out there that like Origin that allows you to not just input information, but gives you real data, real insights that you may not have seen, that is what's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think data is the new oil. So it's all about data and how you leverage data.
Well, how you leverage data. Data itself is not, everyone has data. Terrific. What are you going to do with it? It's the way you can quantify it and provide real concrete solutions in a simplified way. I think that's the next step for data in the real estate industry.
Great, thanks. I think we have Hani who has joined us now. Hi, Hani.
Can you please unmute yourself?
Hey, Hani, you're on mute.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I just joined, guys. I just reached home. I'm sorry. My flight got canceled, but I managed to reach home,
Thank you.
connect, and finally I'm in my desk.
Thank you, Hani. Would you be kind enough to do a very quick introduction for our audience, and then we will get into the Q&A with you, yeah?
Sure, lovely. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity and welcome everyone in the call. My name is Hani Sayed, H-A-N-Y, not I. I've been in the tech digital transformation for almost 2 decades. Been working as a trainer, consultant, delivery, solution architect, pre-sales, business development, innovation director, and finally as a group CIO. And I've been attached with many global consultancy firms, being ex-Melis Group, being ex-Crayon, ex-Microsoft, ex-Bisping Global. And my last role was group CIO of DMB Properties, which is a large firm of real estate group of companies, around 700 people. And I was managing 55 team members of innovation team, infrastructure, cybersecurity, data, application, digital marketing, customer service. I mean, any digital aspect falls under my responsibility. And aside from that, I do training workshops as a transformation mentor and coach. And this is something that I love and I do it for passion. But my full-time role is professional CIO or transformation expert.
Thank you, Hani.
Thank you.
Yeah, since you are on now, I think I'll just jump to you for the next question. We've been talking about innovation in real estate. If you can talk about a specific innovation which you are excited about and which you have probably implemented during one of your projects.
One of our last projects, I mean, in real estate, there's too many aspects of innovation. There is starts from physical innovation to digital innovation to smart cities to buildings to automation to customer acquisition to customer experience. But maybe I always love to connect the business with the end user or the end customer. So one of the latest innovation that we have implemented also, we implemented over like 11 companies. We implemented an omni-channel solution that we manage all our customers inbound and outbound from a single point of glass. So my customer get the notification from our facility management, for example, and in the same time he get the communication of late bills, as well as if he needs something he can chat with us on WhatsApp. And then if the same customer wants to sell his unit, he can also reach out to us in the same platform. And then if he wants to collect the rent, is the same, sign the contracts is the same. So for my customers, he knows my company, this brand with this 800 line, da da da, and everything in the back end, more than 26 systems were connected to that platform. So this is one of the major direct impact in the business, because that's the frontliner of our business. I mean, our customers reach out from the first door from that, and we attach this also to the digital marketing side. So even if our customer goes to our social media accounts and chat with us, that's also landing to the same bot.
Excellent. So this is innovation on customer experience for your end customers, and also in all the facility management, bringing everything together.
That is true. It's a customer experience end to end, and it's also customer journey. We also even defined our investor journey is different from our existing customers, different from potential customers. So this is also a complete journey mapping. And the good thing that you can also integrate this with BMS, building management systems, and that can also, if for example power cut in the house, the system will automatically trigger a ticket and raise a flag of facility management request to our back office team.
Excellent. So I'd like to take the same question to Eric. Any specific information which you are passionate about, Eric?
Yeah, so I mean, the things mentioned already, echo, particularly what Ari mentioned about data, some of the innovations going on in this part of the world, which historically is much more data poor and less transparent when it comes to real estate transaction data, all kinds of information. Some smart people are working on solutions to improve that. But one of the things we're really excited about is some of the, I'd say, breakthroughs that we're starting to see in sustainability solutions, particularly around green materials and energy. So we're looking very closely at hydrogen, for example, where there's a number of very interesting innovations going on that we think will start to make sort of mass adoption much more economically sensible and possible within the built environment. So some of that second order stuff. Additionally, one of the trends we're seeing globally and regionally, particularly in sort of the construction sector, is a lot of manpower shortages. And there's a lot of interesting solutions and innovations coming up through robotics, but also through, procurement platforms and just better automation throughout processes. So that's the kind of stuff
Awesome.
pretty excited about these days.
So I can see a theme here: data, sustainability, customer experience, and process automation so far. I'd like to hear from Ibrahim if you have specific thoughts on innovations which you are passionate about.
Yes, basically, I mean, what is our experience is in the market is they are focusing more, of course, about reducing the, of course, headcounts. But when we say reducing headcounts, I mean, from our side, we are not focusing to reduce only headcounts, increase the efficiency and increase the accuracy of the data. And as my colleagues here, I mean, they mentioned also, I mean, there are, of course, solutions on the market like robotics or like, I mean, automated parking systems, which is new in Thailand. But from the demand, from the real estate, especially from the real estate sector, that from our clients that we see, they are focusing more on the air quality. This is their priority, air quality, and then energy, of course. This is top two because, especially in Thailand, electricity prices are high, but water is quite cheap. So they focus to reduce the electricity consumption, of course. And then especially during the dry season, which is now, this is affecting the whole country. So that's why they focus to the PM 2.5 or, of course, I mean, other particulars that it's affecting the human's health. These are the top two things. And then, of course, there are the solutions for both challenges. But then after these two topics, basically, other ones are focusing more efficient operation, like implementing automated parking systems. But for automated parking systems, of course, the culture is also affecting it. It's not very quick because as a culture, people, they would like to see the human in person. So it's a challenge for the innovation. There is a solution. There's a technology already since years. However, still people, they would like to see.
Hey, yeah, thanks. I think one interesting point you mentioned is air quality. I think in India, that's one of the bigger problems we see about air quality because of pollution. And I think being able to monitor that and give intelligence is huge value also. So moving on to the next question, which I'm more passionate about. We are in access control. I'll pass this question to Hani. How do you see access control evolving? How do you see use of access badges and keys moving into the smartphone? Do you see this as a trend across real estate? And if yes, how fast is it or how important it is?
Well, I see there is a digital experience, I would say, is happening around the globe now because initially, for example, in individual use, we used to use the paper business card. And recently, we've seen the NFC business cards. And now we're seeing only the QR business cards. For example, in my gym, I don't use any access card. In my parking, I don't use any access card. It's either NFC tag in my car or it's even a QR on my phone, and that's it. So the short answer is yes. It is adapting. It is evolving. It is growing. And from an end user experience, we just need more. I would say more sessions like that, but for everyone, not for real estate community or not for like-minded people, because I mean, the gentleman here in the call, everyone is expert in his own area, and we all know the solution of that, but the public is not. That's the challenge, because in my last conference was generative AI. Everyone know and believe in generative AI, but I've raised the flag that guys, the big guys like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, still no one sponsored the AI learning and start producing content and producing articles and piece of easy adaption mechanism for everyone, for end user. Same thing also for the real estate innovations now is happening. People, they would love to use the physical key, but they're not aware of the benefits of having a digital key or one-time password or a smart locker. I use smart locker like myself long time back. I used to do my own Airbnb business, and for me it's a sounds so easy. So I see now the BMS is moving and evolving towards the digitalization, but the only challenge that it can happen is to adapt this with owners, with cleaners, with security, with everyone in the back office. And again, I think that one also, we need one more innovation layer into the technology layer, technology stack, that this has to be integrated. If this is not integrated, as to be honest, it doesn't make any sense. I use a smart system in my house, but I use another smart system in my office, or another smart system to collect my bills. It has to be, all connected and all integrated.
Great. I think great insights. I think I agree with you. Ariel, moving on to you. How have you seen adoption of mobile access in your part of the world, or how do you see this affecting a real estate community?
Sure. And I think it's applicable for all parts of the world, not necessarily only for the US. For sure, it's very important in Asia Pacific and Russia. It's something that's being developed even for comfort class housing. It's a way that you can add a level of control, give a sense of security, and give a sense of reliability to the customer. And really then it varies between, are we talking about a luxury property, or are we talking about lower income property? You can still figure a way to have some sort of solution to automate the process for them and make their lives more convenient. And that also supports retention. So it's extremely important. The question is, what are the competitive advantages? Does it make sense from an ROI perspective? Everything we look at when we're doing renovations on a unit is how much money we're putting in, what do we get out of it? If it does not add to it, can we generate more money as a result of putting in your service?
Yeah, absolutely. I think ROIs have to be shown, either direct savings or more business, right?
Well, direct savings or retention. And if they're saying, well, the reason I like it is because it's security and automated package that's provided as a result, I would like to stay and renew my lease. That is also a sense of an ROI, right?
Great. Thanks. Moving on to Ibrahim, how do you see the adoption of mobile access for replacing keys or badges in Thailand?
Mobile phones, as you know, it's used very commonly everywhere. Everybody's living with one phone, two phones, maybe even triple phones. But there are challenges, of course. Even when you use a mobile phone, about applications, etc. I see that people are in Thailand, especially on the payment sector. Almost, everywhere you can do payment by your phone. So you don't need to communicate. So this can be applied for, of course, for the access control as well. But we definitely recommend, not use any tools, like not use even card, badge, or phone, because you may forget all these items, right? And it may be used by some third party as well. So there's a face scan. There are for fingers, as you can see. There are many now advanced technology that people can use, and this is what we recommend to the market. But it goes slowly in Thailand. It's now they are working with the QR code system and still printing out the QR code on the reception, giving access. Or if for the individuals, I don't see any mobile phone application that they are using to access to the building, but they are using cards or passwords still. This is what I can say. But what we recommend, definitely, like we are recommending for the parking areas also, go through the license plate, or if it is human, go with the face recognition or iris or finger scan. This is what we recommend. But as I mentioned, so still in Thailand, people are using like either the card heavily, or password, or QR code, special barcoding system.
Yeah, I think the developing countries are always catching up, and they're always going to implement this. I'll flip the question a little bit or change this for Eric. I know we all agree that digitization of access is happening. What do you think? First of all, how do you see that option going on, and what do you think are the advantages of such a system?
Yeah, I think, as Ibrahim was talking, I was reminded of my last time in Bangkok, when we were in sort of one of the newer grade A assets, and it was like 6 of us going up for a meeting, and I think it took like 15 minutes at the front desk to get everyone a QR code and register with their physical license, and just a really painful process that, I'm surprised to see on a building that, opened sort of just months before that. So you still see a lot of different solutions adopted, but I think when you're thinking about access control or any user journey, it should be all about removing friction. And I think, as was earlier pointed out, we're already very used to walking around with our phones and paying for things, getting on the metro, buying things in the store. So I think it's a very natural motion to have that in access control, which we're seeing some adoption of. A lot of facial recognition comes with its own problems, and then as well as sort of QR code and some other visitor management and access control systems coming up that way. But I think, what the holy grail is, or what the sort of ultimate vision should be when thinking about any of this, is that the building should be moving towards a place that it becomes more autonomous. So when I walk up to a turnstile in the lobby, or a meeting room on the 13th floor, the building should know who I am and what my preferences are, and be able to adjust to that, right? So climate lighting when you walk in a room, and it knows who you are, knows what company you work for, and so the meeting room that you just walked into can display your company's logo. All these things, require still a heavy degree of integration on the back end, which I think Hani was alluding to, right? But we're not far off from that. And, then being able to better engage your tenants, right? As those insights just get served up to the landlord or the occupier immediately. All this stuff can happen in real time when you sync it all together. But right now, it's still a lot of siloed solutions. My access control is just one system that I have to probably, build out a manual integration for, to just get it talking to everything else. So I think the more important question with any of this isn't necessarily, are we using NFC or a QR code or facial recognition? Is it moving to a place that's going to make the building more autonomous, which is going to create a better user journey, is going to create stickiness, and more sort of revenue opportunities in the building, and then enable the operator or the landlord to just respond in real time better to things. And there isn't, I struggle to think of a better example than who is going where in the building when, as an example of like customer knowledge, right? We have to get better in real estate about thinking about tenants as customers and visitors as customers. These are all customers, and it's probably the most important user data that we can get. Like, how are they using it and when? So, rethinking access control in this way, rather than like, oh, this is something I need to do to just sort of patch up and adopt the latest solution. So that's, I think, the more important question is, how is one sort of approaching it from a big picture journey of the building?
That's a great point. I think the integration point that you and Hani mentioned, it has to be a seamless flow of information from different systems working together, right? So that brings us to the final question, which is for everyone. What is the one thing which, if you had a magic wand and you wanted to change in the commercial real estate, what would that be? Maybe I can give this to Eric. You can just go ahead with this, and then we'll pass it on to others.
A continuation of sort of the what I was just on. We can get to a place where buildings become more autonomous. I think that starts to make you just start to unlock so much about how you activate portfolios, how you can make your portfolios of buildings a platform and a product itself, rather than each individual asset sort of being its own physical silo. I just think you can start to.
So autonomous buildings, great. Ariel, what would you like to change in buildings?
I think, Eric, Henny, I mean, they hit it the nail on the head. If you can just continue to optimize the technology, make it more proactive, make it more efficient, it shouldn't take 15 minutes to get into a building just because it's new technology. So I think if you can figure a way to make new technology efficient and really make it a comprehensive experience for user retention, user satisfaction, that would be great across the board, and in a way that can be added to any capital expenditure plan when you're doing some sort of retrofit or renovation. In our case, we do a lot of value add apartments, and what that means is you take an older product and you renovate the insides, and if we can input something like what the panelists were talking about in an efficient way, I think a lot of times it's not included, and if it could be included, it would only make the experience that much better for the tenant.
Great, great. Henny, what would you change?
Man, I have big dreams, and now you're touching my pain. See, I would exactly second Eric that everything has to be integrated. So I wish when it goes to a building that I just need to walk. So the camera know my face, know where I'm going to visit, and everything. And from my side, the real pain point that I have identified myself, and I always keep influencing other people to do, is to move to the digital identity. Especially now we have the Web3 and we have now the everything is a digital, but still digital identity. You have to walk into the office or to the building, and then you have to show your ID or business card, and then you have to call the guest and confirm, and right. So there's no digital experience. So how many times do I need to show my ID? No, if my name is Hani and this is my phone number and this is my ID copy that is saved somewhere, and you just send a query to make sure that this person is visiting, for example, a rail, and then just take the journey. I need to go. The parking knows that I'm coming, so they know my car number. So parking will open. I don't need to wait for the security or ask for where is guest parking. Or there'll be some automation manual. So autonomous buildings is the ultimate goal that I wish from a building side. But for me as a customer side, as an individual that I'm walking and visiting someone in your office, that I need also to have the freedom that I don't need to show my ID or to search where is my ID copy or So there should be some seamless experience also. And I really love the fact that the gentleman mentioned that it has to be all integrated. If I'm going for a meeting room or if I'm going to a 13th floor, that I need to make sure that 13th floor's elevators are open and so on. But if you also think about it from a back end, that means all the CCTV has to be smart and all the cameras has to be integrated with AI. So it's not an easy, but I think also it keeps evolving, and the technology service providers and technology vendors, they will keep improving the products towards the API first platforms, and everything will be connected. And that's generate massive opportunity, by the way, for system integrators and technology service providers to have massive projects and massive business opportunities. For example, now you have Copilot that's introduced by Microsoft, but no one is able to activate it yet. Last week, I was in Lenovo office. They're running a big workshop with Copilot, but no one is adapting it yet because they're scared. Why? Because the groundwork is not yet done. So the data has to be cleaned. All the API has to be connected. The cybersecurity has to be in place, because if you enable such technology, it might cause disasters. And it happened. It happened before. One of the organizations activated Copilot, and then very sensitive data were exposed. That's the holistic view in.
Yeah, that brings us to the end of the panel discussion, but I think we can conclude here very comprehensively. That is one theme, which is, I think, automation, autonomous buildings, user experience are the key, I think. And then the last point, which you mentioned, while doing this, we should not compromise security of the systems, right? So that's the key. Great, thanks a lot for everybody for your thoughts, and this is great learning for me personally. Over to you, Pankaj.
Fantastic. No, I have been looking at this passionate conversation that we were having so far. I could see the passion in the panelists' eyes and in their sentences. And I'm sure that we could have kept going with this for hours and hours, but I know that we have to transition now to the second segment of the event, which is roast session. And I absolutely love roast session because most of the times when founders go out to their customers, partners, investors, they get a very sugar coated feedback. They do not get a very brutal, honest feedback on the solution, on the scalability challenges, and things of that nature. And that's why we love to host this roast session so that our founders can receive that brutal, honest feedback from the subject matter experts. They can learn from that feedback, improve, and grow. So I would request Rohin to start sharing your screen and start giving a bit more information on Spintly, what you have done so far, your journey, the solution, the traction, challenges, and things of that nature. And then I would request our panelists to be very, very open with your feedback. You don't have to hold back today. Okay,
I'm sharing my screen.
please, yeah, go ahead.
I'd also like to make an introduction. I have with me my co-founder, Malcolm D'Souza, on the call. Malcolm, if you're there, you can just say hi.
Yeah. Hi, guys, everybody. I'm
Great.
Malcolm, the co-founder and CTO of Spintly.
I have
And Malcolm, you need to save Rohin whenever he's in trouble, right?
That's why I got Malcolm, so that somebody can back me up. Yeah. So
Awesome.
great. I'll kick it off from here. So I am Rohan Parker, co-founder and CEO of Spintly. And at Spintly, we are an IoT platform which is enabling a sustainable future for the built world. And why buildings? Buildings contribute to almost 40% of the CO2 emissions today. And if we have to achieve net zero by 2050, we have a huge challenge in front of us. What are the building blocks to achieve sustainability? These are the three building blocks. Data. Buildings generate a lot of data, which is not utilized. And it is not even captured sometimes, right? So if you have to capture all the data from the building, you need effective IoT technologies or IoT architectures which can collect all this data, right? And then once you have this data, you leverage AI at the edge to make decisions and improve efficiency of the building, right? So why are today's buildings not able to make that transitions? I mean, that was the topic of the panel, where buildings are slow to move. And a lot of it is because of the legacy infrastructure which is in the buildings, right? The legacy infrastructure is all controller based. There is a concept of a central controller. There is a sensor or an actuator which connects back to the controller, right? And this controller is then connected to the software for that particular use case. So everything is siloed, like an HVAC system, lighting system, or an access control physical. They don't talk to each other at the device level or the network layer, right? So now if you want millions of sensors in this architecture, you can't scale it. It's a huge amount of cost because you're going to have to lay down wires and cables. It's unsustainable, right? So what we have developed is a completely different architecture. It's a distributed architecture for IoT devices to talk to each other in a building, where every device or an actuator or a sensor or an actuator can talk to each other in the network and make their own decisions without the need for a controller, right? So once you have no controllers, you don't have to run wires back to the controller. The decision is made in the network. So devices are smart. We use technologies like Bluetooth mesh and Thread to enable device-to-device communication between devices. And using a IoT gateway, all these devices connect to the cloud, right? And the gateway also connects to legacy systems. So there is interoperability between new devices and the older systems, right? And with this idea, we launched our first use case in the market, which is access control. Access control, a distributed solution for access control, where you can use your smartphones or even badges or other means of access, but the devices talk to the cloud through a gateway wirelessly over a mesh network. So every door reader doesn't have to go back to the controller, right? And that's where a huge amount of cost goes into access control systems today. And we launched this with a beachhead strategy of moving your badges, keys, and fobs into your smartphone. Right after COVID, we saw a huge move toward digital transformation buildings. And that's what we pushed for, and that's what our customers like and use. Today, we have about 4,000 doors on our platform, which we secure using our platform 200,000 users who unlock doors using our platform, 300 plus customers. We do more than 4 million door openings every month through our platform, right? We serve some of the largest real estate players in the world as customers. We have customers like Brookfield Properties, JLL, WeWork, and others who use our systems, who integrate with us. A lot of what we talked about before, we create those integrations for them, workflow automations, right? Where we integrate with their digital identity management systems and do automate their onboarding and offboarding processes, right? Streamline their visitor access and all those things. The direct benefits we offer to our customers are very tangible. We have so far eliminated 250,000 plastic badges for our customers. We have saved more than 1,000 miles of cables with using a wireless mesh architecture. We have reduced 30% cost on operations just by automating the workflows of visitor management or access control for employees. And we have increased occupancy by 20% because now we know how many people are coming, how many rooms are getting utilized. So co-working spaces are able to now monetize meeting rooms by putting access control and then having people pay for using spaces, right? So occupancy has increased. Some of the use cases which we enable for our customer base is apartment access. We operate in commercial real estate as well as residential spaces. So in residential, we enable apartment access, pool access for residents, vehicle access for residents, a fitness center, clubhouse access, all amenities, right, in residential communities. We have different integrations also. We have a visitor management system where it's a digital intercom where visitors can just scan a QR code and are able to connect with the host and then be able to get into the building. We also integrate with third-party hardware devices like intercom systems for directly communicating with the visitor, so the residents can talk to visitors. We also partner with some lock companies where our mesh technology goes into third-party hardware devices like locks, which then work with our software. So we enable door access in commercial buildings using cylindrical locks or residential buildings using deadbolt locks, which are shown here, right? We also bring in cameras into our platform, giving our customers more insight into where people are moving. We use AI-based cameras, and then we are able to detect tailgating or people counting solutions, occupancy management using the data which comes from the camera systems into our platform. So we're bringing other devices into our platform, trying to give a single pane of glass for managing access security of your buildings today. This is a little bit about me and Malcolm. We both have been friends since our childhood. We've studied together in school and college, and then spent a lot of time in industry building wireless technologies. Started the company about 4 years back. Today, we are about 85 people company, engineering based in India. We are headquartered in the US in Bay Area. And we have some great set of advisors and investors on board who back us and have been helping us grow our company. That's a very quick overview about Spintly and what we do. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Rohan. Questions, please.
That was for me?
Yeah, go ahead, Henny, please.
Okay, so for me, technology, I mean, presentation-wise is okay, but on ground use cases, I saw that JLL and WeWork, which is, I mean, global brands and so on. So is those use cases were implemented in a smaller scale or a larger scale, and what was the impact of the use case? And I would love to see if, because I've been in WeWork offices and I know how the digital experience work with WeWork, which is I love it somehow, but I'm not sure is that was a global use case or a local use case, and how this was fitting in WeWork large systems.
Yeah, so this WeWork use case was India specific. It's in India right now. They have about 50 locations in India. What we enable for them is a seamless visitor management solution where it's an integrated solution, right? Where our systems integrate with their backend systems. They have a visitor management platform where they can issue badges or QR codes for temporary visitors. We have QR code devices as part of our solution. So visitors can just come in, show the QR code, and it's a dynamic QR code which expires every 30 seconds. So you cannot just share it with anybody, right? So with that, they were able to increase occupancy by more than 20% at WeWork, right? Secondly, what we're doing is we have a mobile SDK, and WeWork users use the WeWork app, V-app, for meeting room booking and things like that. Our SDK, Bluetooth SDK, goes into the WeWork app so that now WeWork users can use their phone for access. They don't have to download our app. So we integrate within the app, right? So now every WeWork user has access control as a part of their app with this integration, right? So it just improves the user experience. They don't have to carry physical badges anymore, just move in and out of properties.
Okay, clear. Thank you.
Thanks.
Eric, yeah?
Yeah, I could jump in with a few. So I think a lot of people don't appreciate how challenging it is to have sort of a seamless experience when it comes to access control, yet only sort of notice it when you're using a sort of cloud-based access control and you're standing there for 3, 4, 5 seconds with the latency waiting for the door to unlock. It really does matter at those moments. Is your solution, you're sort of running through the main building network or the network that's existing in this space? Are you setting up a new network? Because getting rid of the controller and having everything sort of set up on site is very nifty, but at the end of the day, if there's network issues, that's going to be a problem. So how do you guys address that?
Yeah, this is a great question. Our system is designed with user experience in mind, where the user is the focus, where all you want to do is tap your phone and get in, right? That's the user experience. So first of all, the credentials are stored on your phone and the interaction is just happening between the phone and the device, right? So there is no network needed, actually. The reader knows everything it needs to know about who has permissions, who doesn't have permissions, right? So we push all the information to the edge. It's not centralized. So when you walk up to the door, you just tap your phone, the door opens. Your access could be your Apple Wallet as a credential, or it could be part of our app, right? It uses NFC or Bluetooth technology for authentication, right?
Go ahead, sorry.
And the network is mesh network. So the only connectivity we need is at the gateway level. So the gateway is connected to the cloud, but all the devices are just connected in a mesh network to the gateway. So even if the network is down, the mesh network is still up. We create that network ourselves.
Got it. Then I guess a follow-up question to that is sort of user onboarding. I guess that's at the end of the day still going to be manual to someone, right? Now I see that there's integrations with CRM systems and a lot of the systems that folks will be using to manage those permissions. But is it correct to say that someone in the building is still manually onboarding every device and person?
Not necessarily. We create integrations with Active Directory. For example, if an organization using Microsoft Active Directory, we'll just create an integration. That's it. And then we define certain rules saying that if you are in a certain department or a certain building, you'll have automatic access using access group features, right? So all you have to do is just add a user in Active Directory and boom, you'll get an email or a SMS saying that, hey, you've been granted access. The whole thing can be automated. You don't need a person managing our access control software.
Thank you, Eric. Ariel, any question, comment, feedback?
Sorry about that. I mean, the experts on this call would be Eric and and Hani, and I think what I would just, you may have mentioned it, but real simply, what's a competitive advantage from this product relative to other systems that are trying to provide a similar service?
Yeah, one of our US key differentiation in the market is our wireless mesh backend, which is easy to deploy. So it saves on installation time, deployment time. So it can retrofit existing doors, existing buildings. So if you have a system, legacy system, all you have to do is replace the reader and you can upgrade it. But for Greenfield, we bring in the biggest value because now you have cut down infrastructure by more than 80%, the hardware infrastructure. There is no controller, there are no wires. So you end up saving costs on labor, installation cost, and just the initial planning. Just imagine when an architect is planning the building, he has to plan for a cable running from the door back to the building automation room. That means he needs a conduit for that. And that planning has to happen during the design phase. So you can just change the whole flow and you can save money all the way along the process.
Fair enough. Good answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was
Go
going to
ahead.
I want to jump in. I want to make sure we don't end on this, but since we were told to be brutal, I very much bristled at the, I guess, sustainability, inference in the presentation. Not everything has to be a sustainability solution, and while I think building automation and access control certainly contributes to sustainability goals, like in my past life, we engaged ESG and sustainability consultants up and down to truly evaluate the impact of, we were saving kilometers more wires and plastic cards, but in the scheme of a large building, that's like a drop in the ocean when it comes to sustainability impacts. So I think this is a contributor to sustainability like initiatives, but I don't think this itself is not a sustainability solution. So that's my feedback on, because I think 3 or 4 slides were devoted to that. So
absolutely, I think you're right on that point, right? But I think we see that that's a step. The architecture is the key, the mesh architecture. I mean, I'm not just from access control point of view, but when it comes to systems like HVAC, if we envision a system like HVAC on a mesh architecture, you can actually see the huge benefits out of this architecture, right? So what we're bringing into building is a new architecture. We want to move from one system to the other and remove the silos from all this system and bring them onto one, right? So I think we'll see the benefits in future, maybe not today.
Sure.
Fantastic. And if you have any insight, any guidance, recommendation for Rohin, please feel free to share. I'm sure that Rohin will be very much willing to get your guidance.
There's plenty I can share offline when we connect, but it sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot of the workarounds for some of the issues that are inherent in this are like we'll create custom integrations, which a lot of people talk about, but the actual difficulty in implementing those at scale is like really, really challenging. And it seems like you're doing the first product market fit really well right now. So I always encourage companies, when you've got something that works and you're doing well, focus on executing that brilliantly, not to the exclusion of everything else, but that's one just piece of advice. And Pankaj, I don't know if you meant like right now, but sorry if I'm just
No, definitely. I think that's very helpful, Eric, and I'm sure that we would be extremely willing to schedule one-on-one calls with you, with Ariel, with Hani and Ibrahim to reconnect and see how we can sort of collaborate, how we can get more insights from you or support your initiatives at your own organizations and so on and so forth. So this is definitely not the end. This is just the beginning of this new friendship, new relationship, right? Again, thanks everybody for this session, for this extremely insightful session. I think it takes a lot of courage to go out in the public and ask subject matter experts to roast in completely public setting, and Rohin has done that. So kudos to Rohin for doing that. And I think we need to again reconnect and explore synergies and work with each other. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think for me, it's just networking and meeting great people and exchanging ideas is the most value I can get.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks to the organizers. Thanks, Rohan. Again, I stayed up as late as Ariel, so that's true commitment. But thanks, everyone. Love doing these.
Thank
Bye.
you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Pankaj, for setting this up. Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
meeting you all.
Ariel, again, you dialed in at midnight your
No,
time
it's
in
good
LA,
stuff.
so appreciate that. Really appreciate
Met
that.
some new colleagues in the industry. It's always good stuff.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Harry.
Good day. Thank you.
Talk soon.
Take care.
Bye.